Hi guys, I'm back. It's been a long weekend, I'm sure. Um, it flew by for me, but that's just because I got to sleep a little bit. So today I want to respond directly to one of the viewers' questions and just clarify a few things. And then starting tomorrow, I will continue on my journey and explain the events leading up to how I went to prison. That might take a few days to do, by the way. Um, but now there are some things that I don't want to talk about openly on my channel, but that will be in the book, just so you know. So that's why sometimes when something seems just maybe a little bit vague or something, it's because it's difficult and not really ethical to talk out loud on a YouTube channel about some of the ways I was feeling and some of the things that were there. But again, that will all be in my book. That will be all detailed, um, right up to the emotions I was feeling and everything else. And again, a lot of that is just hard to speak about. But when you write it down, it's a little bit easier to get the kind of point across, I guess. So that being said, um, as far as trauma that I've received kind of throughout my life, of course, there's been plenty. In my opinion, my parents were too strict, and that's what I thought. And I still pretty much think the same thing. I wasn't allowed freedom really of any kind, and that did go a little ways towards coloring how I acted when I finally got a little taste of it and I got old enough to get out of the house. Or the reason I was sneaking out, or any of those other things, is because I felt like, had I been given the trust from the beginning, had I been given any trust whatsoever, um, I actually went to them and asked if I could go to this party. That was actually the first time we got caught sneaking out, too, because we went ahead and went, and we made the mistake of telling them where we were going to be, because we asked first if we could go. Now, had they given me permission to go to that party, I would not have drank. I would have not have betrayed their trust. I would have done everything to make sure that I would be allowed to go to another party at another time down the road. So I definitely would have been a lot more on the up and up. That party ended up going a lot differently because I snuck out and went anyways. Um, that being said, again, there was a lot of instances growing up that I felt were over the top, maybe. Um, but those are things that are very difficult to kind of speak about and put into words. But I do feel like I was um, gravitated towards men that needed to be fixed for a lot of my life because a lot of that. I stayed in relationships for far too long that were abusive because I felt like I was doing something wrong and I was constantly trying to fix myself. When it took me a long time to realize that if you're being hit, and especially if you can't see why, or you really don't feel like you made any transgressions towards that, it makes it that much harder to understand why. And so I would allow myself to get stuck in several long-term abusive relationships that start out mentally and verbally abusive and ended up progressing into a lot worse. And I mean, at least three terrible ones. And again, finding Cash again has been a godsend because he has accepted me and he loves me for who I am, not who he wants me to be or who he's trying to make me be. And that's something that I'm not used to. I'm not used to being spoiled and treated like I matter. And it's a really new thing for me. And I'm getting used to it, but it makes me feel kind of weird sometimes, like I don't know what to do because I've been taking care of myself for a long time now because I've had known that I felt really cared if anything happened to me. And again, that does something to your insides, to your mind after a while. And I'm still doing a lot of healing and a lot of internal searching to get through a lot of that. And I know that there are thousands of people out there that feel the same way, that have very similar stories, that are in pain and don't have the courage to come forward or to escape. And um, that's a big part of why I'm doing this. I'm hoping to get to them and get out there so that they know that there's other people that are dealing with it and there are ways out. And I want to help if I can. And the other question was, it was brought about in an interview that I supposedly had brain damage. Well, I do not have brain damage. I might have PTSD, and I do have obsessive compulsive disorder, which has developed along the way. I'm diagnosed, but I choose not to take medication for it because I don't want to be dependent on anything. And again, I have a drink once in a while. Drinking was not my problem, but I never drink to the point beyond a slight buzz. I never put myself into a position where I am under the influence to the point where I don't know what's going on or can't control my thoughts, words, and actions. And that's what it's all about for me. Um, but I don't have brain damage, and you know, I I have a lot of healing to do still, from a lot of things that have happened. And again, I'm going to go right on through them, right even past where the books went and beyond, because there's a lot more story there, believe it or not. And I'm going to tell it all. And then when I write the book, it's going to have those really minute details that really show you my soul. And um, as it is, I'm doing what I can here, but it's really, really hard to find the right words when you're just speaking without being scripted, to find those words. And if I went over each little thing that still sits with me, that bothers me, I think that we would be here for years probably. But it also says, in the nonfiction book, that I showed up at the bottom of the driveway missing my teeth and clumps of hair. That's not true. Now, just so you know, all of these front teeth have been redone. There's a bridge there. And all of these ones here have been redone. There's a bridge there. The back ones, they're able to root canal and save. But a lot of them are fake, and that's okay. At least they're pretty now. But I did not start losing teeth or having any issues with my teeth breaking down until long after I was sober. So just so you know, I was sober for a long time, and they were still decent. I relapsed about 8.5 years ago, and after I got sober, after that relapse, is when they started falling apart, and I had to get them redone. So I wanted to clarify that as well. Now, that's not to say that some people don't have issues with their teeth sooner than that, but I don't like being made out to be like I was some kind of a hag missing hunks of my hair or whatever either, because I wasn't. I was trying to get help at the time, and I didn't feel like I could get it anywhere. And when you're helpless and you want help and you need help and you're begging for it and no one will help you, what's the first thing you're going to do? The first thing I did was went and got high so that I could at least maybe feel like I had that control and that power. That's why I did it over and over again, and in more and more successions, because I needed that control. I needed that power over life. And even if I was not in control, I felt like I was. I felt like people did what I told them to do, and things made sense when I was high. And that's why I continued to do it. And why I eventually relapsed also is because I wanted that power back, Anyways, that was really hard. That being said, I have a lot more story to tell. I'm starting tomorrow. I'm going to start back kind of where we left off, and we'll continue along the way. But I did want to address the direct questions, because it's important. The questions like that are important so that you know where I am and what my state of mind is, and what my state of mind was. And again, if I'm here to bear all, I want you to know kind of what I'm thinking, and really who I am along the way, or it's all for nothing anyways. Okay, so, and if we have any more questions, feel free to ask me. Like, subscribe, share like crazy if you can. It's really important to reach as many people as possible. And I do want to clarify one more thing. The second Facebook profile that I made is not my main profile. Obviously, my name is not Crystal Hopkins or Crystal Thetford Hopkins. The reason I created it was so that people who think that Crystal Hopkins is my name can find me. Because if someone's looking for me under Crystal Thetford or Ellen Hopkins' daughter, even, it comes up Crystal Hopkins, no one's going to be able to find the page and know that I'm here talking, and they can come and see. And if they're looking for me, then they probably want to know the story. So I did that so that they could hopefully find me. I'm not leaving it up forever. I will take it down before too long. I don't want to offend people in any more than I have with it, but I did feel like it was maybe the only way to reach people that were kind of lost out there. And so I hope my transgressions will be forgiven. And thanks, guys. I love you all, and I really appreciate you listening. And thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.